all had a great week this week. This week, I have a little bit of a different video for you. Just something I was writing a blog post yesterday, somewhat different topic, and I wrote a couple sentences that I thought would be useful for to expand upon it in a video format because I think it's a more of a mindset topic than anything else. But I think it's a useful mindset topic to talk about. And as mindset plays a huge role in our goals when it comes to health and wellness. So this is something that I think I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but it's the way I like to approach my coaching and how I like to help clients achieve their goals and use it as a way to frame their progression and how they should look at things. And that's what I would like to throw out there on this topic of mindset is that everyone is an athlete. And I think that might sound a little outrageous to a lot of people. And frankly, I think it probably sounds a little scary to a lot of people. And I can completely emphasize with why. And of course, it's a little bit easier for me to accept this mindset because I do compete in athletic competitions. I do run obstacle course races. I do grip competitions, but that's not the way I've always been. I was for most of my adult life and childhood, I was not what you would consider an athlete. I didn't really like sports. I mentioned before that my full-time job is as a software engineer, and as a typical software engineer, physical activity was not my number one concern growing up, and through much of college, it wasn't really my number one concern. It wasn't until after I had graduated that I actually became physically active and then decided that I wanted to do something with my time that I was spending in the gym, and when I came across obstacle course racing. And at that point, I adopted this athlete mindset, even though if you had asked me back in 2015, when I had done my first obstacle course race, whether I was an athlete, I would have told you. But what I eventually came to figure out later on is that the way I was going about my health and wellness journey was as if I was an athlete. I was putting my efforts in towards where I wanted to perform. And where I wanted to perform at that time was in doing my first obstacle course race. What I was doing was optimizing things like my exercise and my diet and my sleep and my stress management and stuff like that. I wasn't doing it perfectly, but I was trying to at least experiment in that fashion so that I could perform at obstacle course racing. And so you might be saying, Ryan, you had a competition or a sport that you were trying to perform at. So yeah, sure, you're an athlete, but I'm just, I don't want to compete in anything. I'm not going to go to a race. I'm not going to get on a field and play a sport or anything like that. My goals are like, I just want to be healthy, and I want to be able to play with my kids, and I want to be able to perform at my job, and I want to be able to, on the weekends, go and hike or play golf or play tennis or whatever. I just want to be healthy for life. And honestly, I think being healthy for life is the most important athletic endeavor that you're ever going to undertake. For most of us, even for me, I accept the fact that someday I'm not going to race. Someday I'm probably not going to compete in any given way. And I'm just going to focus on being a healthy guy and living my life. But I want to perform. If life is your competition, if life is your sport, then you should want to perform optimally in that, right? You want to perform optimally as a parent. You want to perform optimally as an entrepreneur or as a coach who might be coaching youth athletics or whatever, like whatever your passion is, or whatever that life thing that drives you to do the things that you want to do for your health, you want to perform optimally for those things, right? And that is the ultimate competition, right? You might not be competing against other people, but you competing against yourself to perform better, to be there for your kids, to be able to go for the hikes, to be able to go for the bike rides, to be able to get up each day and grind at work and be at top mental capacity and to be a caretaker for the people that you love. Like these are the most important things. These are the things that are going to matter for you. And so you need to perform as if you were competing, and you should take it with the same rigor, if not greater rigor. Because if you're trying to be an optimal person for your kids, what's more important than that, right? If you're trying to be the best parent you could possibly be, there's no other important, more important or harder thing to do. Personally, like I know this. Being a parent is far more challenging than any race or competition I've ever done by far, right? And you need to perform at your best and you need to be on every single day. And that, is an athlete mindset, right? You need to fuel your body properly. You need to get adequate sleep. You need to exercise and be physically active. You need to focus on uh, good stress management practices. Like it's your job to show up each day the best you possibly can be and perform at your best. And you need to think of yourself like an athlete. And so therefore, I think that whether you're someone who falls into someone who competes in athletic competitions or someone who just is living to be a healthier version of themselves so they can live a better life. I think that you're adopting an athletic mindset either way. And right, if you look at your health through this athlete mindset of I want to the number one thing, my number one goal is to perform my best. And so what do athletes do to perform their best? They eat, they train, they exercise, they're active, they focus on their sleep. They have great recovery practices. They do mobility, they meditate, they get in the sauna or the cold plunge or whatever. I'm not saying that you need to get into a sauna or cold plunge or whatever to be a good parent, but some kind of relaxation technique that helps them recover and to perform their best. And so we should be doing things that are assisting us. If you keep that mindset of, okay, tomorrow I need to wake up and you know what, I have this whole day planned of I gotta get up, I got to get my kids to school. I have a bunch of work meetings I have to do. I have this huge task that needs to get done. Maybe it's a work presentation. Then I need to go to the gym. Then I need to come home and I need to be a good parent because my kids are home and I need to make dinner and we need to talk about our days and we're going to play outside for a little bit and go outside and play catch or ride our bikes. And then I'm going to get them ready for bed. And then I need to repeat that the next day. If you know that you want to perform your best at all those things in your day, what do you think you're going to do the day before? You're going to do everything you possibly can to be at your best that next day, right? So that means like you probably want to eat a healthy diet. You probably want to go to bed at a good time so you can get enough rest and get enough sleep so you can be function the next day. You probably want to make sure that during the day that you take some time for yourself to chill out and relax after a stressful day at work so that when the kids come home that you're not a stress ball and you're present with them. You probably want to make sure that your cardiovascular fitness is really on point because you want to be able to keep up with them on the crazy bike ride that you're gonna bring them on. And so you're now making choices based on your performance for the next day. And that is an athlete mindset. That is exactly what an athlete would do. Someone who's playing professional football and has a big game the next day, they're not going to go out in most cases, right? We all know the stories about this, but they're not going to go out and stay up till 2 a.m. and get completely hammered, drinking alcohol, eating a bunch of garbage food, get no sleep, and then try to get the next day and perform in a big competition. That's just, I can tell you right now, it's not going to end well for most people. For me, it would be a complete disaster the next day. I wouldn't be able to compete and I wouldn't be a good parent either. So if you start to look at your performance in whatever matters most to you as the most important thing, you're going to make choices to optimize that performance. And that, like I said, is what an athlete would do. So in reality, the message I want to take away and the mindset that I think is important and can lead to success, and is how I have found success in my own health and wellness journey, is to think of yourself as an athlete. Adopt the practices that an athlete would, because really all an athlete is someone who wants to perform at something. And we all want to perform optimally at something, right? We all want to, whether it's an athletic competition or not, we all want to perform optimally. I hope so. And if you do have that drive to perform optimally, then having an athletic mindset, the mindset of an athlete will help you make better choices to get you to the optimal performance. Your messages focus on the performance, make choices that align with that performance, and that will lead you to the goals and develop the habits that are going to lead you to success. So that's the mindset talk that I wanted to give you today. Think like an athlete, focus on performance, and then you'll be able to make it'll be easier to make the better choices to get you to your goals. If you think that's useful, disagree with me, don't find it useful at all, please leave comments or send me a message. I'm always happy to discuss this stuff with everyone. As always, I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter so that you can get all the content that I put out, whether it's these videos or my blog posts or whatever. You can do that at rjbhealth.coach. Click on the newsletter link at the top and enter your email address. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, help adopting this athletic mindset, you can reach out to me directly or go to my website, rjbhealth.coach, and fill out the form. And we can chat a little bit more about what you're looking to get out of coaching and how I can possibly help you. With that, I hope you've all